Hello everybody. If you follow my videos, you see that I'm kind of debating which console to buy, but now, after more debating with myself, I've decided that I'll probably go with the PlayStation 5. Now, why I'm saying that and why it's related to this video? Well, in this video we're going to talk about console exclusive games. And not just console exclusive games, but more precisely, why they are important. I know that for some games you probably want games to be in several consoles to play cross-platform, but what are the advantages of having a game developed for a single console? So before we jump into it, let's first, I want to tell you that yesterday I watched Gamescom opening night live, and I watched Ratchet and Clank gameplay. This is, by the way, one of the titles that I'm waiting to play the most. I'm a big fan of the series. And at the end of the gameplay, there was this thing. First of all, it was captured on the PlayStation 5. And second, look at this. It's PlayStation 5 Exclusive. Now, of course, we can play with the terminology and maybe it's time exclusive, but we know this is, for example, when you talk about Ratchet and Clank, with this screen was actually presented after the gameplay. This means that this is console exclusive. We know that this game is developed by Insomnia Games, which is part of Sony's game studios. So Sony has all the meanings of making sure that people want to play this game will play it on its console. And of course, we are talking about PlayStation 5 here in case of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. But just so you know, Sony has a service called PlayStation Now, which you can find some games that were available on the PlayStation 4, and you can actually play them on PC as well using their service. And even Bloodborne, which is one of the most iconic games for the PlayStation 4, is available. I don't know if it's right now available, but was available, and maybe it's right now available for players on the PC to play the game as well. But this, of course, wasn't from the start, right? So maybe you can expect some exclusive games which were designed for the PlayStation 5 to eventually find themselves, maybe after some months or maybe years, on the PlayStation Now later on. Now, I won't talk right now about the difference between Xbox Series X, Microsoft approach and Sony approach regarding the console. We're going to take a bit later. The first thing I want to talk about games developed for the console itself. Now, based on what I've seen, I'm just gonna just point it to the gameplay that I've seen on Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, in that particular gameplay, you can see that Ratchet & Clank pass through different kind of cracks in time into new worlds. And what I could tell is that because the PlayStation 5 has such powerful hardware, very, very fast SSD and very powerful GPU, they were able to render these worlds very, very fast, or even make some of them work in parallel. So the switch between the worlds would be kind of almost instantaneous. Although the kind of the part where they actually transfer between two worlds, there's a kind of an animation which I think is kind of a loading screen, which takes about 2 seconds or so. Although I believe when Ratchet & Clank can connect with the Rift, this is the part where they actually can initiate the loading of the other scene. But if it is true, it means that even rendering this entire new area, it takes it's just very, very fast, basically. And for me, it seemed that Insomnia Games really wanted to kind of create something that wasn't done before and really take advantage of the PlayStation 5 hardware. But again, not just to create something like the demo, the capabilities, but create an amazing game that takes use of the hardware of the PlayStation 5, again, to create something very creative and unique in terms of gameplay experience for the players. And in general, we know that when you play regular games, what you see is one world which continues maybe render or continuously being rendered as a user continues to move through the environment, but just switching quickly between completely different worlds, like almost instantly. This is just crazy. This means that this type of game probably won't be able to run on the PlayStation 4, and once it's developed exclusively for the PlayStation 5. Now, as gamers, when we buy a new generation console, we want the console. We want to be able to play games that really harvest the power of the console, because if not, well, we can play those games on the PS4. We don't need the PS5. But of course, it's up to the developer to decide how they actually approach making those games, whether they really want to harvest the power of the console to deliver unique experiences, maybe even create new type of genres, game genres, or just develop a game which can also run on the PS4, but as well can run on the PS5, with the same visual qualities and features. But if I was a developer, I would probably want to kind of impress the audience, create something that really take use of the hardware of the PlayStation 5. And I do think that many gamers will be searching for these type of games, at least at the beginning, where it's a big hype and really people want to experience next gen gameplay experiences. So this is the time to actually release those games where the hype is at the highest, right? I mean, if I was to choose between a game that kind of look okay, I can play it maybe even on Nintendo Switch in terms of graphics, or a game that really kind of can blow me away in terms of visuals and unique experience, of course I'm gonna go with the second one. And I'm really looking for innovation and creativity, and really looking for developers who really gonna take advantage of the hardware of the PlayStation 5. Now, when it comes to development, you need to understand that, for example, Insomnia Games need only to target a single platform with their game, in this case Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So they can take advantage of the fast SSDs and really deliver this type of unique experience that they demonstrated, in the gameplay experience on Gamescom and even before. If they were to make this game available for the PlayStation 4, well, we can expect it not to run the same way, and maybe we'll have kind of loading screens, or maybe we need to design it. Probably they won't do this, but we need to design it around the limitation of the hardware. And this, of course, will lead to experience that the developer didn't want to, and they need to kind of, again, create workarounds. So that's why when they target the PlayStation 5, they wanted exactly the game to be designed exactly as they envisioned when they start working on concept for this game, and with the Rift taking you to another place without actually no loading screen, and the world changes dramatically. So again, it's all instantaneous, and this is because the PlayStation 5 is very, very fast SSD and very powerful GPU and hardware in general. Now, I know it feels bad for some who maybe can't afford the PlayStation 5, or still want to stay with the PlayStation 4 maybe for some time and want to play these games. Some of these games won't be available, but you need to understand the developers' perspective as well, right? Again, if developers were targeting both platforms, the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, you might see things like the difference between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, like better graphics, but we won't see innovative gameplay experiences. Now, the same goes to supporting both PC and next-gen consoles. Of course, we're going to see things, but you can expect some games to really have high minimum requirements. Now, the question is whether the developer, it's worth the effort to kind of bring this to the PC. Again, it's probably developers will have those thoughts when releasing games for both the PlayStation 5 and PC. Some games probably will be available, of course. But the thing is that I've seen it in VR, by the way, where VR still has like a high minimum requirements. You need specific hardware in order to play it. I couldn't play it because the computer doesn't support it, and I need a computer with, I think back then it was 970 GTX card. And now I needed like a 1660 GTX card, which what I have right now, because my laptop is VR ready actually. But I couldn't experience VR on previous hardware, and I felt really frustrated. So the thing is that I've seen VR really kind of slowly penetrating in. And although there are a lot of people who can play, there are also a lot of people who couldn't enjoy VR because of the high minimum system requirements. But of course, with console, you have one console, for example, the PlayStation 5, where you'll be able to experience VR using PlayStation VR. You'll be able to experience all these amazing games that were developed for the console, exclusive for the console, to take advantage of it. And they're going to look amazing and play amazing. Well, hopefully, many of them. So again, all you need to do is just purchase a console, which in terms of price performance ratio, you're going to get really powerful hardware compared to if you need to invest to get the same experiences on a PC. let alone with one that supports virtual reality. Now, of course, companies like Sony have their own reasons why they do what they do, and of course here we can see there's a difference between Microsoft and Sony. I mean, Microsoft doesn't really care. They don't have any exclusive, they don't have any console exclusive, right? System exclusive, because their game will be playable also both on the Xbox Series X and also on PC, or more precisely Windows 10 computers. And this seems to be different compared to Sony, who want players to purchase the PlayStation 5 console, but still they offer the PlayStation Now, for people who have a PC, who want to experience some of the games on the PC, or maybe at some point some of the console exclusive will be available for PC as well. But I expect it to be kind of a longer down the road, and I don't expect those best exclusive, highly anticipated exclusive to be available for PlayStation Now. Definitely not on day one. Now, because of all that, I think that exclusive games are very, very important for Sony. So I do expect to see plenty of console exclusive games released for the PlayStation 5, which of course will kind of need to stand out from the rest. You're gonna see games that, if you can find similar games on both consoles, the appeal will be much less. So I do expect more innovation when it comes to games on Sony's side. And there's also, players' expectations, because with PC there isn't something like generations, right? That's why people see Xbox Series X and just, another another PC, but again, very good price. Whether with the PlayStation 5, really people see this as a next generation console. So the expectations of seeing next generation games is very high, and I think the developers want to kind of match this type of expectation for players. Now, from what I've seen, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a game that designed well to really take advantage of the PlayStation 5 hardware. In terms of visuals, there's no loading screens, of course, and you can see that when Ratchet and Clank go through a rift, the world changes like almost completely in some instances, and it happens like instantly. You don't see any loading screen or anything. There's also the game take use of the DualSense controller, which means the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback to deliver really more fun shooting experience. There's so many guns there, and they can really make them feel different with this type of technologies. And also ray tracing will be available, and of course the improved audio technology. Now the thing is that I'm talking a lot about Ratchet and Clank, right, Rift Apart, but of course there are going to be other games, yeah. But just giving as an example, and one of the things that I really like about Ratchet and Clank is the rich world. The world are so rich. Although I know that when they create a game that look less realistic, more cartoony, well, it probably requires much less polygons in order to render. Still, the world was really colorful, vibrant, and really, really beautiful and detailed and rich. So this is type of world that I really want to get into when I play this game. Now, although there are advantages of having exclusive games for PlayStation 5, you need to understand there are also disadvantages, and I kind of worry when it comes to multiplayer games. And I mean, I saw that, by the way, in Destiny, although Destiny was a big hit, so you didn't actually feel it, but I really wanted Destiny to be available on PC at the time, because some people that I know play on the PC and don't have the PlayStation. I really wanted to experience it, to play together, basically. And for some competitive games, I don't want to be kind of separated between platforms. I want, everybody to play the game, so we have a large player base and people from one system can play with another. Of course, there are limitations with controls, we know that, right? So people playing on a keyboard and stuff, but for some games it won't matter. Now, when you have a game that is available for more platforms, well, the chance for it, especially if it's a multiplayer game, to survive longer is much higher because you have a larger player base. So if for example, people stop playing, you still have people on other platform playing it. And of course, it usually degrades kind of more about the same, I think. But I did see games that I play, for example, on my Nintendo Switch, which kind of died because it was a mobile game. I forgot the name. Anyway, it died. And then I couldn't just go to play it on Android, for example. Why? Because they just separated. It was kind of a separated logically they created they introduced different characters differently in the game compared to between different platforms. So they actually the game just died on Nintendo Switch, and just jumping in after I progress and unlock all the characters to do it on another platform, I just decided not to play it altogether. So although I do have high expectations for exclusive, we need to understand we're going to see many games, lots of indie games, and again, they'll be supported on both platforms. Some with crossplay, some not with crossplay. Like before, I guess we're going to have going on here as we had before. But the thing is, the most important thing for me is when I buy a next-gen console, I really want to experience something new. I want to be surprised. I want things to look better, to play faster. And I want to experience new type of experiences, gameplay experiences. And this is something I'm really looking forward to, but this depends on the creativity of the developers. And of course, some developers need to take some risk, right? There will be developers who will just improve upon the formula that other successful games that they were developed before, and some will try to create something completely different. And maybe some will kind of mix, right? Like with Ratchet and Clank, try to kind of bring the formula that was successful and still mix it with something new and refreshing. And by the way, when it comes to PC, you can see that the PC is very fragmented when it comes to like a hardware, right? Whether compared to a clean next-gen install base that we have on consoles, in this case on the PlayStation 5. Now I can definitely see when it comes to kind of the time where we're switching between this current gen and the next gen, to see developers actually sacrificing the PC low end. I mean, if they tend to develop for cross-platform, both the PlayStation 5, for example, and PC, we're probably going to see a kind of sacrifice. So when we look at minimum requirements for game, you're probably going to see many games that will require better hardware. Now, this is true to many, by the way. For example, I saw the same thing with browsers, supporting browsers. It's kind of different, of course, but the same thing I think goes here, where when you move forward, some things will need to be left behind, because without this, there won't be any change. Now, so as you know, the PlayStation 5 will arrive this holiday season, and I'm actually looking forward to get the PlayStation 5. I know we get crazy because I'm changing my decision every single day, but again, because I get more information every single day. The thing is that I'm also looking forward playing games, on 4K. I don't have 4K display, but eventually probably I will have 4K display. I mean, I've seen it in the store and it just looks incredible. So I mean, playing games on that, oh my god, it's gonna be insane. And of course, playing games higher frame rate and all. But overall, when I look at what Sony has to offer with the PlayStation 5, I do expect to really enjoy it with its current exclusives and different games that are going to be released for the platform. But I'm sure there are going to be plenty of more great exclusives that will come to this console later on down the road. Hopefully those we already enjoy playing Bloodborne 2, and many more. So I mean, I was and still am. I'm a PlayStation 4 player, and even at the time, I always compared, the Xbox and the PlayStation, and decided which one I should choose. And when I look at the entire, type of games they released for both platforms, I found there are more games that I enjoy playing were released actually to the PlayStation 4 than the Xbox One at the time. Now, at the end of the day, we have two great consoles, but as for now, when it comes to exclusives and what I actually expect Sony to release down the road and what we have now, I kind of think that Sony will have advantage on that part. And this means that I want to see many exclusives, right, released for the PlayStation 5. And again, games that really kind of focus on really harvest the power of the console itself. And I do expect them to look amazing and play amazing. But again, we need to wait and see. But overall, I don't see the exclusivity for PlayStation as something bad. I think this will actually help the console. And I do expect Sony to have quite a few of those exclusive ready kind of on release date and down the road, so the console will still be attractive to players. Yeah, so this is it for this video. If you have anything to add, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to my channel and giving a like. See you very, very soon on the next video. Thanks for watching.